Well, hello and welcome. Today I'm going to do another boat painting. I've got a little fishing boat here in the harbor, and the water's really sparkly and just kind of a pretty scene. So I'm gonna give that a try. I'm gonna do this one a little bit differently than the last one, where the last one I did all knife right from the beginning. This one I'm gonna lay it out in a way that I've been doing a little bit, where I brush and kind of sketch it in and draw, and then kind of fill things in. And kind of just go from there. I'm gonna use some wax on this one. Yeah, just kind of use a process that I've been using kind of off and on, but maybe haven't actually tried with boats. So I'm gonna give that a chance. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to decide on my sort of like outline background color. This whole thing has a lot of really cool tones. So I think I may use a blue actually. Which normally I've been kind of like blocking in with like a warm color, but I think for this one I'm gonna do blue. So some more. Use some ultramarine. So it's still kind of a warmish blue, and get some Viridian out because that's gonna be handy. There aren't too many different colors in this painting. I will put out some alizarin crimson. Maybe clean this up. This is a little goopy right now. Not because there's very much red in this painting, but there is kind of a bunch of green that I'll probably want to dull back a little, so I like to use it that way. And that might be a simple enough place to start. And put a little bit of my solvent out on my palette. And go ahead and just sketch it in with this little round brush. This does make it a little easier to get my angles and whatnot kind of early on, even though nothing has to be completely perfect. Just helps me have a starting place. There's another boat back here. Start there. Sometimes as I'm moving around, I don't even like identify everything that I'm working with. I'm kind of looking at like light and shadow shapes. Just trying to block it in kind of quickly. Got some different roof lines here. There's a bunch of houses kind of close to this pier. I guess probably not houses, they're probably various seaside businesses, I guess. Let's see. And there's a tree here. Don't need to get too specific about, other than it's kind of silhouetted. Got a little mislocated. Sometimes that's the nice thing about doing this quickly too, is before you get too far into it and you realize you have something in the wrong place, you have an opportunity to fix it. And that tree's not gonna actually matter all that much, but maybe it was actually better in that first place anyway. I can always put it back. Okay. So, a little too drippy there. Let's actually go a little bit over. I've got a great reflection here. It's just framed in real nicely. Okay. So, able to kind of shade things in a little bit more now. Mainly I'm just trying to kind of locate some shadows, so maybe I'll do mix up a little bit. A couple of different tones. I'm going to do a kind of purple with alizarin. And maybe do a viridian that's just a little bit close to that, but just to give a couple options for dark colors in here. And then I've got maybe a blue-green in that same idea. That'll cover most of those kind of cool shadows. Alright. So up here in this tree, let's go in this area. And then there's another shadow here. Kind of a blue-purple here. And I'm really trying not to look into any detail yet. I just want to put some dark tones down. Let these shadows stay nice and streaky for now. It's an experiment. It might work. You never know. Keeping out of kind of any colors where I think I'm going to mix some white in as well. There's some sort of bright areas here. And here, it's gonna stay a little bit red. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use all the lights and the knives to really define all these shapes a bit better. I'm just kind of going through and making quick choices now. And I'm trying to kind of put these brush strokes in ways that kind of suit sort of the texture of things. You've got this roof line. I'm trying to put that in kind of horizontally. Same with just kind of the siding here. I don't really need to get too specific with any of that here yet. It's kind of a little break of a little bit of light. And there's a bit more. I suppose I could have just used a big brush and went in and did all of this, but I don't know, sometimes that's how I get acquainted with an image too. Alright, so I'm gonna go kind of even darker and a little greener here. There's another boat back here. I'm gonna like sort of pull that out after. I don't think I need. I don't know if the mics were picking it up or not, but in case they were, it's far, but I think usually if I can hear it, you can hear it. Trying to make this kind of the right amount of like chaotic, but also kind of simplified. A little bit, that ran a little bit because I had the sort of mix. But keep that kind of simple but expressive. I think that's the way to do it. And hopefully, because I'm thinning this, I'm kind of hoping this first coat will dry kind of quickly, and sort of make way for me to do more things with knives and wax. Probably this particular session will be, for me, it'll all be in one video for you, but for this session I'm mostly doing thin painting. Like the reflections here are just really good. Like there's a lot of different stuff going on. I think that's part of what I really liked about this picture. There's also like a lot of great, the boat itself is white, so there's a lot of reflection from the ripples of the water on the hull here. Which, I don't know, I'm not sure how much of it I'm going to put in this initial layer. Let's see what I can do with it. kind of looking at like where I can put in sort of undertones and things that I want to show out from the wax too. I think this painting with such cold shadows, the warm board underneath is gonna be a nice accent. I don't know. I have a habit of doing this and then I end up covering the whole surface anyway, so it doesn't stay. But I always think it's gonna be a good idea. And sometimes it's just like those little bits coming through really do make a difference. Let's see. Doing a little trick with the brush, just kind of swishing in these little ripples. Bluey here. Work that into place. Make it more circular later. And then there's gonna be some ropes that tie off to that, but I don't need those yet. And I've got some very dark sort of windows in here. Putting these in kind of thick. I want them to be nice and dark. And I'm gonna take these, actually go right across with this one. Be able to put the sort of window frames back in over them to make it a little bit more defined, but I think that just having those dark will be a good place to start. Okay. A little bit redder too. It's kind of like slapdash watercolor right now. Okay. Let's see. With that, get another sort of line. It's going a little darker and just putting in kind of a next coat on some of these areas to get I've also got these little bumpers on it. I'll try and put those in, at least a little sketch of. Just try and get kind of all my forms represented this way. It looks very messy. And it's also got a lot of form. Alright. I think that's actually a really good foundation for this. I don't think I really need to go any further. I think that for right now, I think the best thing is just going to be let it dry and then come back and like really bring the light into it. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens, so stay tuned, I guess. Alright, well, I'll be back in a few. Alright, and I'm back. Let's see. I am looking forward to getting back into this one. So it's all very nicely set up. It's been kind of a couple days since I did this initial layout. And now what I'm excited about is I'm going to take this kind of like loose, roughed-in shadow sketch, and then I'm going to go in with quite a bit more care with the knife and just kind of like keep working the whole thing together. I'm going to start kind of in the lighter areas and work toward the shadows, I think. So I'll kind of bring in some of the brighter spots. So I won't go all the way to white yet. Yeah, just kind of work on kind of modeling the whole thing out. I'm gonna use, let's see, I might probably use a few different knives, but I'm gonna use this one. I like this one on ship forms a lot, just because I've got two different edges to work with. So I'll start by just cleaning that off a little bit. A little bit of old paint on it. I think I had this one outside. I'm gonna set up some wax too. I think I'm gonna do this mostly in wax. I feel like the wax gives me kind of a different bit of precision. So I'm pop in here. Just grab a bit of this. Good amount for now, anyway. Alright. And let's look at colors. Put a little bit more of this yellow as well. I like the yellow ochre because it's not quite as bright, but it does let me kind of warm up some of these lights. Yeah, it's gonna be sort of some blues, some grays, some greens. And the nice thing about this sort of warm wood of the board is that's gonna naturally warm it up a little bit too. Let's see. It's a nice image. There's a lot of contrast. It's actually pretty compressed. There's not a lot of colors in it, so I can really focus. I might have even made a good black and white painting. But we'll just carry on with our subtle color palette. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and mix a little bit of wax. a little bit of white. Touch of yellow ochre. Making a golden yellow white. This is pretty nice. Take that. Take just a touch of alizarin into it as well. Maybe just think about a little bit of this going in here to this tree. Just kind of want to see what I can do to create some shapes and put a little bit more wax in that too. I want to keep this paint really kind of thick and pasty. That's probably a bit too light for here. Just scrape some of it off, but keep putting it in as like a texture color. Start there. And hopefully this yellow here. And it's a little strange. I'm just kind of working in this little area back here. Just kind of bring the shape of this house and tree in here. I'm kind of using it just to set up the shapes and set up some of these values. It's not really that important of a spot. Oh, that's very bright. Little walkway here. Just catching a little bit of light. Let's start with that. All right. And then to take a little tiny bit of Meridian green and a little bit of ultramarine. Just gonna mix these guys together and start by taking a little bit of this white, trying to make a sort of darker end of this highlight range. That's fairly good. Okay. Let's see. It's tricky. As it goes over this way, it gets a little bit warmer, but right here it's still sort of the highlight, but it's also quite a bit darker and cooler. So I don't know, I'm just gonna try to put it in here. Let's see where it ends up. I really want to see if I can kind of preserve this sort of transparency in some of these darks and make this kind of work together. I don't know for sure how that's gonna go, but I think it's something that could be really, really interesting if it does work. Yeah, okay. I'm putting in some of these really lights. Okay. Just keep moving it, I guess. Keep moving along. Making up some more of this white. I want to keep it, no, I was just saying I wanted to keep it kind of clean, and I don't even know how I picked up this sort of pink color into this. Now I'm kind of looking to see, can I use this anywhere? Actually I can. Got a little bit. Actually, go a little darker even on this little buoy here. there's this light streak here. Oh man, this feels messy. But that's okay. I'm just gonna keep going a little at a time. I can always build up something else after if I need to. It's probably the toughest thing is getting a really clean line that stands out enough. It's also still kind of flat. That's something that I don't know if there's a good method for it, but it's really good. Okay. Just kind of scrape this up here because I'm removing to the previous layer. Yeah, this is a little silly. I'm using almost like a pencil, but let's see if I can clean this off rather than having to go back over it. A lot of times, like with knife painting, for me anyway, I'm always thinking about sort of positive and negative shapes. So sometimes it's like going over something and then carving something away, or going over it and then going over the area that I need to get back with like a smaller tool or a different color, just to kind of carve out what I'm going for. You know, it's nice when you can do everything at once, but then I grab just a little slightly golden. I like the sort of jaggedness of this is bothering me a little bit. Try to smooth it out just a little. Not too bad. I think I want to bring the knife texture in again, but I also feel like it's a little too early and getting a little too thick maybe. So that's kind of my motivation right now for just flattening this out a little bit. Put this. Kind of a blue-gray into this area here. Probably smooth it out again too. I'm getting some of these little reflective marks here. I'm trying to be kind of delicate with these because I don't think I'm going to get too many shots at them, but we'll see. Let's see what happens. Okay. Try and just keep putting in these little bits of light. I think this area will be really cool if I can keep it very fragmented, like all these little ripples. Try and do them a little at a time. I may break this up into a few sessions just to see if I can kind of keep the texture going without having too much sort of color mixing in some of these areas. Lots of little color shifts here. A little bit more pink, a little bit more blue. Try and get a few different things happening. A little shifts and things. Let's see. I'm gonna make kind of a middle grayer tone to work with. A little more wax in there. I'm gonna bring that over here. This isn't quite as cool. Maybe this board color actually would have been fine for it too. I'm not going to try to cover it all in. I'll actually leave a little bit. A little more blue, a little more white, more wax. A little more green too. Yeah, this is great. This water it's subtle. Like it's not a really showy scene. And sometimes you can find things in a scene that doesn't show off for you right away. I feel like this sparkling water really has that ability. Maybe if I do it well. Let's see. it's starting to look a little bit. Let's see. Maybe it needs to go a little bit lighter. Just pick this up a little bit. Oops. Get in here. I think I'm going to build an easel. And I think then I'm going to change the way this... I mean, I could probably just modify this one too, but I have ideas. It's kind of sparkling. But I do like to be able to get to the bottom edges here. Sometimes there's this big thing here. I don't quite know. It's like you could put almost something 3 inches thick in here, which I don't know if anyone paints on a canvas that's 3 inches thick, so it's kind of in the way most of the time. Okay. There's a bit of darkness that I didn't put in my first pass on this. I don't want to do it right now. I'm gonna let it be for a little bit, but I do want to put in just a bit more light. And I'll keep kind of working in here in these little streaks. Going through this now, just creating all these little textures. Kind of finding the different spots here. That's sort of working. I like that. And in here I've got some nice grays, and I've got some nice little bits of light still coming in here. That might be even probably a little too bright. And I've got kind of somewhat similar to this blue right in here, kind of weaving in. It's good to have a boat, but it's really, I don't know, I really love painting water. So I guess it's good they go together, right? But I think I always find if I make a good setting, the subjects, they always just work. So just kind of doodling along in here. Go a little darker maybe. Fairly good. I've got some more whites I want to bring in here that I want to even brush out. Get this part just a little bit more glassy. Do the same thing actually a little bit back here too. Let's just start, try and get a feel for it. Okay. Take a little of this gray, a little of this blue. A little bit more white. Since I am trying to preserve this sort of first layer and not go over it too much, not sort of ruin the darks, it's a little bit slower going, but I think there's something nice about it. Probably worth it. That little bit of reflected light there. Okay. Some of these little light edges. Let's see this one here. I want to soften this a little bit. Pretty good. Keep going. Kind of, it's a simple painting in the sense that there aren't that many colors in it. But it's a less simple painting because the shapes it's got some tricky shapes, I guess. Let's go right in the middle here. Hopefully, this is a mid-tone blue. It's a shaded area, but it's white. Not perfect. Let's see. This part I might have to touch back up after. But let's start with that. It's a little tricky because these windows are round on the corners too, so they just not an easy shape to make. But let's do my best. Okay. I've got that. I've got get this roof stuff blocked in. Keep this kind of faded in. And now it's interesting. It's like a shaded area, but it's not dark either. Trying to figure out the best way to describe some of these shapes. I might have mixed that one all up. I'll just keep going with it and see what I can do. Putting in this shadowy area. I'm going to go over a bunch of this with a light. That's my theory anyway. Yeah. Let's see. A little more white, a little more wax. Did those in the opposite order, but I put the right things down. Let's see. Able to, because I'm putting this on with the knife here, and I already had that little thin layer on, I can kind of leave that shadowy edge nice and thin. Then go over this and sort of put this highlight in. Just gives this edge like a nice crispness. These windows are tricky. So I keep trying to do my best with them. gonna use this little edge of the knife here. Get these kind of little sunlit bits. And there's this little lit area that's right on the edge of this window frame here. Just kind of turns it from one side to the other. Good. Carving like a little bit of yellow ochre in along that edge. It's one of these sort of made up colors that I'm not sure is really there, but I kind of like it there. Okay. Sort of starting to have the right shape, despite my shaky paint application. It's funny, there's definitely some shapes that I'll decide are important, other shapes that I'm like, yeah, close enough is good. I guess that's kind of how it has to go, right? Okay. Over here I've got another boat a little bit further back, and it looks very white here, but I don't want it to. I actually do want to keep my focus in the foreground, so I'm gonna just darken it a little bit. I'm gonna start to kind of block it in. This a little messier because I'll probably soften it with a brush anyway, because I don't need it to be so sharp. So it's kind of mostly here to give me this light edge that goes against the bow. Maybe actually just fade it out, block in some of its upper area here. Some kind of structures that are lit. Try that. There's kind of a similar situation back here, though I don't even know. Let's see. Let's put this little edge in. doing kind of the same, some of the similar. I don't need a lot of detail back here. Just kind of like the idea of some of this sort of reflected light and later shadows kind of popping out. A little bit more. I really actually love this yellow that I put in early, and I feel like it seems like a strange place to start, but now I'm seeing some other little bits that kind of have the opportunity to do the same thing. Take a little phthalo blue, mix it into this blue that I had going on here. A little bit of wax. Just bring in this guy. And then similarly here too. On this side, I've got sort of a building side that's kind of reflecting that. Like every piecing, there's always this little part where I feel like I might blow it over my head. And I don't know. I'm glad I record these, because sometimes I think if I didn't, maybe I would chicken out. but because I know I'm gonna share it, I kind of have to like power through, which is good. Sometimes, I don't know, sometimes pressure is good. Try not to really feel it like pressure though. It's a weird shaped building. I think I made it even weirder. But that's okay. Sometimes I think people build weird shaped buildings near the ocean because there are a lot of constraints. Alright, so that's in there. I'm getting close to needing a break just to kind of clear my mind and come back this fresh, but no, it's coming. It's coming along. And obviously I gotta put some ropes in too. I always like doing those just as little gashes in the rest of the paint, and then while it's wet I can kind of move it around a little bit. I'll do this one too. And then it's always kind of there for me to go into it and highlight it a little bit, but I like having it kind of worked in. So kind of other little details back here that could have the same treatment too. Just going around and finding everything that seems like it's better to deal with while the paint's still flexible. Some of these little window bits are like that. I think it's better having them a little round than really perfectly shaped, actually. Something nice about that. A couple little like antenna things. But again, I feel like you're better to let them go in a little loose. Yeah, it seems like a good point to take a little break. Okay. Alright, well, I'll be back in a few. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, I don't think this one's going to take a lot more. I just wanted to kind of give it a little rest and come back with some fresh eyes. Sometimes when I'm getting like a little bit tired, I just know that I could have the tendency to sort of rush something and then see something later that I wish I had changed. So, yeah, I'm just going to kind of hop back into it. And yeah, I think the main the main things I want to do, I want to fix there's a couple of edges here that I just don't love. So like this yellow against this blue is really sharp. And I kind of want that to quiet down a little bit. And then I've got this like tangent line here where this boat is hitting the bow, which it's not actually, it's actually behind, but it's just kind of how they line up. So sometimes in paintings you end up, you notice these things, but you don't notice them like right away. And it's like, it's just, it might have been okay in the picture, but it's not quite as good when you see it as a painting. So I'll probably just make a couple little adjustments like that. I want to do a little bit with these windows again, just try to keep sneaking up on those shapes. And then I want to work on this bow here. I think I am going to go into this with wax. I had left this area kind of with my original underpainting shadow color, but I think it needs just a little bit more depth to it, and it's sort of, I don't think the streakiness is working for it there. So I think I'm gonna I'll go into that with some wax and kind of try to get these sort of light reflections defined on here. I'll probably do that with brushes just because I don't know if that will be knife possible, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start by mixing up a few darker colors. Let's see. Maybe use this knife too. So I think a lot of the shapes that I want to do now, I don't actually want them to be extremely sharp. So I'm going to do a little alizarin viridian dark. It'll give me kind of a purpley dark. I'm going to add a little bit of ultramarine to that as well. Just cool it down a little bit more. Even more. I think it's alizarin's just looking a little strong in there right now. Okay, so I've got that. Grab some more wax. I'm gonna put too much on it. I'm not thinking it's gonna take all that much more paint, but we'll see. Grab a little bit of this. This might be a good window color too. I'm gonna get the right consistency here. With the darks, when you add the wax, it lightens them just a little bit, so you kind of have to go a little darker than you think you would. I'm gonna take a little bit of cobalt, theoretically. Maybe I have to get some more out. Start that one fresh. If it's a color I don't use every time, sometimes it will be more likely to dry out while it sits there. I'm gonna take a little bit of this, and with this dark that I have, maybe a little more wax. I kind of want to put in a slight kind of roof color here, just kind of break that. Break those up a little bit. That's pretty good. Even more wax here. Just kind of brings that in. That's pretty good. Take a couple of different spots back here. I'm kind of almost able to bring in a couple more shadows. That's pretty good. Okay. I suppose some of these I could have gone with a sharp knife, but doesn't seem necessary, really. Just using this top edge. Something I realized is that other knife is it's a good pull knife, but it's not a good push knife. Like I can't, like with this knife I can go here, and I can pull these up, or push this up I guess, and be able to get like a sharp edge on the bottom and on the top. But the other one, you end up having to like move your arm around, like, I don't know, a lot. Maybe I don't have enough elbow joints. It's just kind of a funny thing. So, and symmetrical knives are a little bit more versatile for certain types of shapes, because if they're more complicated, maybe. Okay. And I'll do a little bit of white to this blue. Kind of make a gray. I really like getting to use the transparency of the wax and kind of layer up different colors sometimes. Take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let's get these little bumpers on this one too. It's not even the kind of thing that needs all that much detail, but it's kind of nice to try to lock it in a little bit. Alright, now we're here. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna work on this bow a bit more first. So I think this sort of purple color that I've got, I'm gonna start working that in. I'm not gonna worry. I'm gonna go a little bit over some of these highlights that I made earlier. Not worry about those. I can come back to them, and the texture might end up being really handy since it's already kind of built in and it's dry. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. I'm gonna do a little bit more blue here. I'm trying to be kind of somewhat neat here, but also mostly trying to just get good colors into good spots. Okay. I think just having that flatten out a little bit is just giving this a little bit more very much a mid-tone in this little area here. I don't want to flatten it too much. I do think those little streaks weren't helping here. That's a little better. That. I need to come up a little bit more. Pretty good. Okay. Actually, I'll use this little round brush. I'll be able to use this. That's nice and sharp. So for some of these little edges where I want it to have a really nice form, I can get right in there. A little bit of the same purple in here. I could have gone more of a blue with this, but I thought that the purple would work well, and I might want to layer some more blue on top of it. I thought that the purple would just give me a little more interest maybe. I don't know. I think color is an area where you can change things. Sometimes it's better to just kind of go with your gut if you get the values right. So like how dark or light something is, that tends to matter quite a bit more. That's pretty good. I'm gonna try and say take a little bit of Viridian, this blue mix. I'm gonna go right along this edge here. Just give this something to fade it in with, if that makes sense. I think I'm gonna bring another highlight back into this, but I just wanted this to not be such a harsh transition. I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna try to find these little sparkles where the light is bouncing. Okay. Try and see if I can get these kinds of shapes on here. Well, it's like what attracted me to this image originally. And I didn't know if I'd have a way to actually do it, but it's worth a try, right? Let's see. Okay. I think on this side I'm seeing more of a white line. I'll take this little pointy brush. This might work better for this. I should get a smaller one, like similar to this. Yeah, that one doesn't work that well. I'm gonna go back to this. Sometimes I don't know. I just try to feel stuff out. I think going kind of into wet paint for this and drifting these little sparkles across, this actually gives more of the sort of the right look theoretically. It's good that was dry. I feel like if I get the right colors, and then I'll probably come up with a way to apply the paint, and that will probably work. Come along. Okay. No, it's not like photorealistic, but I feel like it's starting to make a amount of sense anyway. Just simplifying these lines a little bit here. I just want them to feel, I want them to be straight, but I also don't want them to be really super crisp. I think that this blue is pretty intense, and I like that. I probably could have gone a little less wild with that though. I'm just kind of seeing if I could repaint it. I'm just kind of seeing if there's a way that I can resolve it otherwise. kind of good. And then in here, thinking about shifting that toward like a pink, kind of referencing this tree, and maybe even bringing a little bit more of that through the water here. I think it does seem like it would do well with like one more tone. Even really with like a little magenta. That might be fun. This is the kind of phase where I think it's okay to just ignore the original on some level. Just kind of work some things in here as I see fit. Why this is pink, I don't know. Just because it seems like a good color right here. Okay. Let's see. A little there. A little bit. Kind of fade that in there. Let's see, now I've got this edge here that's a blue. I think that pink was kind of nice. Let's see. But I'm trying to kind of adjust this little tangent too. Let's see. So I'm kind of almost moving this top edge here up a little bit, just to have it sort of fade off and not run into that in such a weird way. I don't know. Try that out. A little of that here. Kind of just imagining where it would show up if it were in there. Pretty good. I think that's a little better. Take a little bit more meridian into this mix here. Just bring. Sometimes these where it's a really brightly lit area, you get like these very saturated colors. I feel like there's a couple of spots on this where do kind of the same thing. A little bit of this dark kind of speckling through here. Just kind of makes it shine. It's like, I wanted to do this the other day and was kind of held off because I didn't want it to mix into these whites and make it gray. I wanted to leave it really contrasty. That bright and dark next to each other is really what makes it kind of sparkle. Got kind of the same Same thing happening over here too. Pretty good. Alright, I think I'm gonna do a little bit with these windows. And I'm kind of close now, though. So, mainly with these, I just want to kind of work their shape just a little bit. Like right now they're just like a little too round. It gives it almost like a cartoon look. Which I don't entirely hate, but it wasn't what I had in mind when I started. I think I can just do just a little to bring it back to reality. If it wants to go there. Now I'm cheating for all of this and using a brush, but if I want accuracy, it doesn't get me that. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, that works pretty good. Okay. Let's take just a little of this, a little of that. A little bit more variety, a little bit more depth on a couple of these pieces. Doesn't need a lot. cool. Just kind of continuing to wander around here and see some different. Different shapes, different connections between the shapes. Yeah, I think that might be just about right. Yeah, I think it's kind of clicked into place. I feel like these sparkles, they actually work. Like, I don't know, it's funny. They kind of, like, up close, they just look like junky little brush strokes, but then when you step back, it does have the effect. Which I love. I love that about, like, impressionist painting that way. So I think I'm gonna give this one a signature, and I'm gonna leave it here. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, or whatever you're off to next.